So nothing but that particular method performing the action is nothing but developing automation script. Performing with the action is nothing but developing automation scripts. Okay, so developing automation script has been done. Developing automation scripts has been done based on manual test cases. Developing automation script has been done based on manual test cases. So this is what the whole standard while working with this particular respective Selenium automation. While working the Selenium automation, the first activity we required jar files. Based on jar files, we need to take care about packages. Based on packages, taking with class. Based on the class, we will be taking with method. That particular method need to be get. That particular method need to be get perform action. Performing the action is nothing but performing with the action is nothing but developing automation script. Developing automation script has been done based on manual testing cases. So in that, our first thing, our first activity need to be get take care about in downloading with that particular respective Selenium jar files here, right? So for that, we are already discussed about in taking care about downloading that particular Selenium jar files here. Just look into the step, what exactly that particular respective steps to be followed. If I'm taking with, if I'm taking with that particular respective step, if I'm taking with that particular respective steps need to be followed. In that, first, we need to be get refer that particular respective Selenium website. We need to be get refer the respective Selenium website. In that, it will be taking with WebDriver language bindings. We need to take care about WebDriver language bindings. Under that, it will be taking with Java stable that it will be taking with 4.13.0. That particular one, it will be downloading that particular zip file, it will download. Once it has been downloaded, that particular zip file, you need to be get take care about you need to be get taking care about in extracting it. You have to take care about in doing with the extract. Once you're done with the extract, you will be able to see all the required jar files here along with lib folder. Along with the lib folder, you will be able to see to have in a jar files here. Right? So you need to be get take care about in considering that lib folder, the one you will be taking with inside of the lib folder and outside of the lib folder. So all these jar files, you need to be get added to project. All these particular jar files, you need to take care about in adding to project. So how exactly we can take care about in adding jar files to the project? How exactly we can take care about in adding jar files to the project? Maybe most of the people already knowing it, the steps to be followed to get added with the jar files. Anyway, let's have that particular step. Just make a note of the steps. If you want to get add jar files, any jar files, it can be Selenium jar files or Java related jar files, any jar files you want to add, steps to add jar files, steps to add jar files to project, steps to add jar files to project. So if you want to get add jar files to the project, what exactly the steps to be followed? Okay. So in that the first step, create Java project in Eclipse. So everything into Eclipse only. In Eclipse, you will take care about in creating with Java project. Once I got create Java project, once I got create with the Java project, perform right click, perform right click on created project, perform right click on created project. So the one you will be taking with perform right click on created project. Okay. After that, which you will be taking with navigate, navigate to, navigate to build path, navigate to build path and and click on click on configure, click on configure build path, configure build path, navigate to build path option, navigate to build path option and click on configure build path. After that after that click on libraries tab, click on libraries tab. After that, click on click on module path, class path, click on class path option, click on class path option. The statement is optional. I mean, when you're working with your Eclipse, when you're working with your Eclipse, based on your Eclipse, based on your Eclipse, if this option is available, based on your Eclipse, if your option is available, then you have to click on that. Otherwise, you can ignore and continue the next step. That is, click on add external. Okay. Add external jars. Add external jars button. Click on add external jars button. So taking care about click on add external jars button. Okay. After that, after that. So once once I got click on that particular add external jars button, then you need to browse, you need to browse all Selenium jar files. You need to browse, you need to browse all Selenium jar files. So you need to browse, you need to browse all Selenium jar files. So whatever the jar files are there, whatever the jar files are there, you need to browse it. Mentioning the inside of lib folder, inside of lib folder and outside of lib folder, inside of lib folder and outside of lib folder. So you need to be get taking care about, you need to be get take care about browse all Selenium jar files here, mentioning that inside of lib folder and outside of lib folder. Okay. And after that, taking care about click on open button, click on open button. and after that, click on apply and close. Click on apply and close button. So this is what we need to be get taking care about. This is what we need to be get. This is what we need to be get take care about in mentioning that having with these particular respective steps here. So whenever you want to be get add jar files to the project, whenever you want to be get add jar files to the project, we need to be get take care about we need to be get take care about followed with these particular step. We need to be get taking care about in followed with these particular respective steps here. Okay. Now let's follow the same. We are already downloaded the jar file. We are already downloaded that particular jar file. Just need to be get take care about in adding into Eclipse. Now, in that, what is the first activity? We need to create that particular respective. We need to be create that respective project. To create that particular respective project, first you are taking the file and then taking with new and taking with project, providing taking with the Java project. The name according to your comfortable. The name according to your comfortable. You can provide any of the name. According to your comfortable, you can provide any of the name. That can be any name you can provide. These things you're already knowing it. Just I'm continued with the same steps only. The first activity you need to create with the project. Once project has been created, once project has been created, second activity you have to take care about right click on project. So by default, what are the things we got? By default, we got an option of taking with JRE system library and then taking with source folder. Okay. Now, as project has been created, taking with the right click and then which it will be doing that particular right click activity. Once you done that particular right click activity, once you have been done with right click activity, then you will be taking with build path and then you will be taking with configure build path. So you have to take care about create one project. Once project has been created, you need to do with the right click. Once you've done with the right click, you're utilizing build path option. From there, you will be taking with configure build path. From there, you're taking with configure build path. And then you need to click on libraries tab. You have to take care about, you need to take care about, click on libraries tab. So once you click on libraries tab, here only you may get two more options here. One is module path, another one class path. One is module path, another one you will be taking with class path here. In case of, in case of if you are able to see those two options of module path and class path, you need to click on class path option. You need to click on class path option. Right? So you need to be get take care about click on class path option. Okay. So that you can say that you need to be get click on class path. For now, that option is not available. You can ignore. Then you have to take care about click on add external jar. You need to take care about click on add external jar. Right. So you need to take care about you need to take care about click on add external jar. And after that, you have to take care about all your required jar files here. You need to add all the jar files. You need to add all the jar files which are available in inside of the lib folder and then which are available in outside of the lib folder. The jar files, the jar files which are available in inside of the lib folder and taking with outside of the lib folder, right? So if I'm taking with that particular jar files, that will be taking with that will be taking with inside of lib folder and outside of lib folder. You need to add all the jar files here, and finally you will take care about apply and close. Once you've done with apply and close, once you're done with apply and close, it will get added to project. All that particular jar files, all the jar files will get added to project. Once it got added to the project, once it got added to the project, then you will continue accessing packages from that classes, from that methods. That method need to be perform action. So performing the action is nothing but we are considering the developing automation script. So that particular developing automation script. So that particular developing automation script is nothing but need to be done based on manual test cases. Right? So we need to be get take care about that particular manual test cases. Let's look into that manual step. If I'm taking with if I'm taking with that particular manual step, if I'm taking with that particular manual step, if I'm taking with that particular respective manual step, see that. So if I'm taking with manual step, test case 1, test case 1, according to the real time, according to the real time, that particular test lead, according to that particular real time, the required test lead will take care about, the required test lead will take care about in assigning that particular respective test cases. So the test lead, the test lead will look into that. That particular test lead will look into that in assigning that particular required test cases. But for now, as part of the practice related to this, I'm just giving the step according to that particular steps will take care about in developing automation script. Considering that, taking the first step as usual, mentioning that launch browser, taking the first step, launch browser, and then enter URL, enter URL. After that, enter username, enter username, and taking with enter password, enter password, and taking with click on login button, click on login button, and then after that click on logout option. Click on logout option, and finally taking with close browser, or we can say that application, taking with browser, mentioning about taking with close browser or taking with close application, or you can consider that browser. So this is what we need to take care about. This is what we need to take care about the manual step considering the test case 1. considering that test case 1. This is how we need to be get mentioning about taking with that particular respective manual step that will be taking with test case 1, right? So now you can see here. So if I'm taking with these particular steps, according to these steps, we need to be done. So let's take care about in doing that. Further, we are already created the project. We added jar files also. Now the setup is done. Then we need to start programming. So to start programming, what we need to do, we need to take care about in creating with the respective class. We have to take care about, we need to take care about in creating with respective class. When class is created, when class has been creating, what are the standards to be followed? Whenever we are taking with, whenever we are taking with that particular class name, if I'm taking with that particular class name, what is the standard to be followed? Right, exactly. Need to be get start with capital letter, right? So in simple, we can say that class name, class name need to be get start, class name need to be get start with capital letter. So coming to the name, we can provide anything. If I'm taking that particular name, if I'm taking with that particular name, you can provide any of the name. You can provide any of the name. So that doesn't make any problem. Name can be anything. Name can be anything. So that doesn't make any problem. Okay. Now, apart from that, if I'm taking with that particular name, we mention that particular name need to be get start with capital letter, right? So if I'm taking with class name, if I'm taking with class name, so that particular class name mainly it's need to be get start with capital letter. So we can follow the same as part of Java, as part of Java programming, as part of Java programming, what are the standards you have been followed? What are the standards have been followed need to be get followed with the same. So as usual, I'll go with the same, but that particular class name, how we are providing is taking with capital letter only, but along with that, we need to be get provide the manual test case ID. So what exactly the manual test case ID is there? What exactly the manual test case ID is there? We need to provide. But before creating with the class, according to the standards, we can create. It doesn't make any problem, but according to the standards, always it is adjustable in creating with package. Always it is adjustable in taking care about in creating with package. So that package name, it can provide anything. That package name, it can provide anything considering the WebDriver examples. The package name can be anything. The package name can be anything. We need to be get provide that particular WebDriver examples. We need to be get provide just for understanding. I given that name, not like mandatory that need to be get go with the same name. You can provide any of the name here. Okay, right. So now we created project, we created package. Once package has been created, taking with the new and taking with the class. We need to be get provide, that will be taking with the class. Now I'm just considering manual test case ID. I'm just considering, manual test case ID. Okay, so that will be taking with test case 1. That will be taking with test case 1. Now, the class has been created as usual according to your understanding. Any Java program, if you want to execute Java program, what you require according to the programming, if you want to execute any Java program, what you require? To execute any Java program, what you require? Exactly. Main method is required. So in the program, it's mandatory that we need to write the main method that will continue. That will be continued taking with public and then static void and taking with main. You need to take with the main considering that string that will be taking args and need to be get go with main method. So what is the use of the main method? Use of the main method. Right. So to start program execution. So if you want to get start, execute any Java program, a small program, complex program, whatever it can be. If you want to execute, any Java program, if you want to execute any Java program, it's mandatory that we required main method. Okay. So after that, we need to take care about in performing test step. We need to come up with, in taking care about in performing, we need to take care about in performing that particular respective test steps here, right? So we need to take care about, take care about in performing that particular respective test steps here, right? So let's see that what exactly that particular respective, test steps need to be done. So once we got taking with that particular respective test step, what exactly the test steps need to be done. So before performing that, we are already added jar file. Based on the jar files, what we can access? Based on the jar files, what we can access? Right. Based on jar files, we can take care about in accessing with packages, right? So based on that particular jar file, we can take care about in accessing that particular respective packages, right? So in that, there are a number of packages out there. Selenium guys already defined. Selenium guys has been already provided a number of predefined packages. What is it? Predefined packages. Selenium guys has been already provided a number of predefined packages. So in that we are taking with, in that we are importing some of the packages taking with import argo dot open QA dot selenium dot it will be taking with WebDriver. Argo dot openqa dot selenium dot WebDriver. In the same way, you got one more package that will be taking with argo dot openqa dot selenium dot and taking with Firefox dot taking with Firefox driver. What is mean by that? I will explain. And taking with argo dot openqa dot selenium dot taking with by selenium dot by. So these three are a very common packages. These three are a very common packages and taking with regular packages. These three are a very common packages or I will be taking with regular packages. Right? In this, if I'm taking with WebDriver, the reason we imported to access WebDriver classes and taking with methods. To access WebDriver classes, and taking with methods. Right? So to access WebDriver classes and taking with methods. In the same way, we got Firefox driver. This particular one, to access Firefox browser. For the purpose of accessing the Firefox browser, we are taking Edge driver. I mean, whatever the browser you have been required. Whatever the browser you have been required. Right? Whatever that particular browser has been required, you need to take care about in importing for that particular respective driver. Which browser you require, you need to import the driver. For Firefox browser, Firefox driver. Chrome browser, Chrome driver. Edge browser, Edge driver. And then we got by statement. By statement considering the to access object identification or taking with element locators, methods. To access object identification, or element locator methods. We can take care about utilizing this particular respective by statement. Right? So this is how we got an option. Taking with this particular step that will be taking with WebDriver and taking with Firefox driver and taking with by. So these three The very common package is in simple, you can consider like any program in Selenium. Any program in Selenium, any program in Selenium, you need to take care about importing these three packages. Now, we need to get access for method. We need to get access for method according to your understanding. If you want to get access for method, how we can access the methods? If you want to access the method, how we can access the method? So according to our understanding, according to the Java programming, if you want to access the method, how we can access the method? Right. So we can access the method by creating object. If you want to access the method, you can consider that by creating object. By creating the object, you can take care about. By creating the object, you can take care about in accessing that method. Okay. Now, if I'm taking that particular method, that method in general, how many types of methods? How many types of methods? So if I'm taking with the method, how many types of methods will be there? Exactly, two types. What are the two types of methods? What are the two types of methods? Right. We can say that predefined method and user-defined method. We can say that predefined method and taking with user-defined method. If I'm taking with the method, we can consider that that particular method will be two types here. In that, one is predefined method, another one user-defined method. One is predefined method and considering that user-defined method. So here, if I'm taking with the Selenium predefined, for now, everything predefined only, not required to write any of our own methods here. Now, what Selenium guys has been done is, they already provided all the methods according to the test cases, according to the automation, whatever the methods has been required, that methods already provided. But all that particular methods they provided in general, according to your understanding, methods will be available in methods are available in. If we take with the methods will be available in. I'm talking about methods, not class. Methods are available in classes, right? So methods can be available in classes. Apart from classes, any other option? Methods can be available in classes, perfectly okay. Apart from classes, any other option? Exactly. Considering the interface. I mean, the required methods can be available in classes or we can consider that interfaces. Right? So the required methods can be available in classes or it will be available in interface here. Right? Classes or it will be taking with interface. Okay. So now if I'm taking with that interface in Selenium, that interface name, the predefined interface name is WebDriver. In Selenium, that particular predefined, that particular predefined interface name is WebDriver. We have not created this interface. Selenium guys already created this interface, just we are using it. Now, I'm taking that object. I'm trying to create object. I'm trying to create an object for this interface, but it is giving an error. See that, why it is giving an error? If I'm trying to create object, it is giving an error. Why it is giving an error? So if I'm taking with the interface, I want to access the methods. For that, I create an object. But if I'm creating with the object, it is giving an error. Why it is giving an error? Why it is giving an error? We are already imported, right? So we are already imported that. We are already imported that particular package. Okay, right. So the reason is whenever you are taking with, whenever you are taking with that particular interface, according to Java programming, can we create an object for interface? According to the Java, can we create an object for interface? No, right? So we cannot directly create the object. For that particular reason, it is giving an error. So because of that, in a place of that, we are taking reference of the class that we will be taking with Firefox driver. That we will be taking with Firefox driver. And I can see that WebDriver is one interface. You got a symbol of I. Firefox driver is one particular class having the symbol of C. Right? So this is what we need to be get mentioned. Third, this is what we need to be get mentioned. Third, taking care about in creating or having with reference of that particular object. Now, let me try to execute the program up to this particular step. The same thing run as Java application and we'll see that any output is provided. Just we have been taken reference of the WebDriver. Because of that, just we can see that is there any output is provided for this particular program. Any output we got? Are you able to say any output? Any output you are able to see? See that you are able to see the output of the browser has been launched. You're able to see that particular respective output considering that browser has been launched. According to our manual test cases, the first step to be automated, launch browser, we automated that step. If you want to cross check, let me run once again. If I'm just executing once again, taking with the run as Java application. Now we can see that you will be able to see with the output. You will be able to see with the output taking with launching with the browser. You're able to see with the output mentioning that launching with the browser. But is it URL is entered? You're able to see browser is launching, but is it URL is entered? No. So URL is not entered because by default, Selenium will not be performing anything. By default, Selenium will not be performing anything. We need to provide. By default, Selenium will not be performing anything. We need to take care about. In giving that particular respective instruction. Now, for the Selenium, we need to inform that to enter URL. To enter URL, you need to take one method name. that will be taking with navigate.to. You need to take care about navigate.to and need to be get considered in providing that particular application URL. So what exactly that application URL is there, you need to take care about in providing that particular respective application URL. Now you can see that which you will be taking with that particular one. Now you are able to see that that particular application URL. You can see that browser will be launching it and URL will be entered. So URL is entered. Browser has been launched and URL has been entered. So this is what you need to take care about. This is what you need to be take care about in providing it. Right? So once URL is entered, we need to enter username. Before that, I'll take care about the last activity, closing the browser. Need to be take care about closing the browser. For closing the browser, that will be taking with driver.close. Closing with the browser, that will be taking with driver.close. Right? So which it will take care about, in closing, which it will take care about in closing that particular respective browser. Now we can see that if I'm taking with run as Java application, if I'm taking with run as Java application, that you will be able to see browser is launching, URL is entering, and closing the browser and closing the browser. You can see URL will enter, URL is entered and immediately it has been closing it. URL is entered but immediately it has been closed it because the Selenium will execute with the steps in the very fast. So because of that, we need to inform to that particular Selenium tool. We need to be informed to that particular Selenium tool to go with wait for some time. So how you can add that statement that will be taking with thread, that will be taking with thread.sleep. That will be taking with thread.sleep. You can provide any of the time in the milliseconds. You will be taking with any of the time in milliseconds here. So which is giving an error. If I'm keeping the cursor, it is asking about. If I'm keeping the cursor, asking about in considering the exception handling. It is asking about to implement exception handling. Because of that, you need to take care about. Because of that, you need to take care about in implementing that particular respective exception handling. Right? So that is related to exception handling. You guys are already very well knowing. I'm just taking care about writing the statement that you will be taking with throws exception. That you will be taking with throws exception. Now you can see here. If I run this program, it has to take care about launching with Firefox browser, entering the URL and waiting for some time and closing the browser. So manual testing we done, automation testing tool is performing. You can see that URL is entered and then taking care about in closing that particular respective browser. This is how we need to take care about. This is how we need to take care about in utilizing that particular respective code. I mean, according to the manual step, according to that particular manual step, we need to begin to understand according to that particular manual step, we need, according to that particular manual step, we need to be get understanded, taking care about in utilizing all that particular respective programming steps need to be done. Now, this program taking care about executing in Firefox browser. Assume that the same thing you want to implement in Chrome browser. So if you want to implement in Chrome browser, then what you will do? If you want to implement in Chrome browser, what need to be done? The same thing I want to go with in taking with Chrome browser. What are the steps need to be done? Right. So all the steps will be the same. All the steps will be the same. Just in a place of Firefox driver. In a place of Firefox driver, it will be taking with Chrome driver. In a place of Firefox driver, in a place of Firefox driver, which will be taking with Chrome driver. Right? So that particular Chrome driver, it is giving an error. Why it is giving an error? That Chrome driver, it is giving an error. So why it is giving an error? Exactly. We need to import that related package. How you will import? Import org dot openqa dot selenium dot taking with Chrome. Chrome dot will be taking with Chrome driver. The error will be resolved. The error will be resolved if I just taking with execution. If I'm just taking with execution, we need to be able to see that Chrome browser need to be get open. Now you can see that Chrome browser got open. So browser got open, URL is entered and taking care about closing that particular browser. Now, in case of Firefox browser, we are taking with Firefox driver. In case of Chrome, we will be taking with Chrome browser. In the same way, we can try for, right? So in the same way, we can try taking with Edge browser. In the same way, we can try in taking with Edge browser also. So if I'm taking with that particular Edge browser, if I'm taking with that particular respective Edge browser, how it has to be done. Let's see that. If I'm taking with Edge browser, how it's need to be done. The same thing I will be taking with import org.openqa.selenium dot taking with edge, which will be taking edge driver, right? So we'll be taking with edge driver. Now, if I run this program, it has to take care about if I'm executing this program, it has to take care about in executing in the Edge browser. In your laptop, that browsers need to be there. It's not like Selenium will install that browsers. It will not be installing in your laptop already that particular browsers are there. It will take care about in utilizing. It will take care about in utilizing that particular respective. It will take care about in utilizing that particular respective browser. So that is what it will be taking with. That is what we need to be get mentioned that taking with that particular respective Edge browser. This is how we need to be get take care about. This is how we need to be get take care about and utilizing getting started working with this particular respective Selenium by considering that taking with the very basic program by considering the very basic program. This is what our very first starting program in a very simple way, considering the taking with launching with the browser, entering with the URL, and then waiting for some time and closing browser. So this is how we need to start. This is how we need to start taking care about and started developing all our automation script. So this is how just we need to continue in the similar way. By tomorrow, we will be getting the more clear picture. By tomorrow, we'll try in utilizing all the Selenium methods.